Hi friends, I wanted to sit down this afternoon and have a little chat with you about my year in review, my second year owning my own little art business. A little bit of background on me for any of you who don't know this about me. I graduated university with an honors psychology degree in spring of 2021, so that was a year and a half ago, and all through my degree, I was planning on going straight into grad school to become a psychologist. During my last year of university, I was also really falling in love with art and illustration, specifically digital illustration. I learned how to use Procreate and it's so fun and fulfilling, and I kind of realized that if I were to go into grad school, that was going to consume my life and I wasn't really ready to give up the free time that I needed to hone my illustration skills. And now I have this dream of kind of just seeing where it takes me and seeing if maybe one day I can reach a point where I'm doing creative stuff full time. I know that that's a big goal, taking baby steps towards that goal, and I'm optimistic that maybe I could do it. So around the same time I graduated university, I had more time to grow a little business, because that is one of the ways that I hope to eventually make a full-time income doing creative stuff, is having a little shop. So I opened an Etsy store in spring of 2021 called Maybe Katie Art, because my Instagram handle is Maybe Katie. That name never really quite sat right with me though. So in the spring, when I finally came up with a better idea, I rebranded to Fun Gal Studio. I made the leap to leave Etsy and move on to Shopify, because having my own website had been a dream of mine for a long time, and it felt like a really awesome step forward towards my goals, and it definitely has helped me out a lot. But I will kind of get more into that later, because I want to give a more straightforward breakdown of the year and kind of the trajectory I took, because I feel like I grew a lot this year as an artist, as a business owner, and I learned a lot this year, and I want this to be a place where I can reflect it and share it with anybody who's interested. The beginning of 2021 was, oh my god, what year is it? The beginning of 2022, the current year, was pretty quiet for me as far as business goes. I had my Etsy store, I think it was on vacation mode. All the stuff that was in my inventory was stuff that my style had changed so rapidly since I created it that it just felt wrong to even sell it. It just felt so much not like me anymore. So I just put my Etsy on vacation mode and just kind of took some time to practice the fundamentals and techniques that I kind of felt like were missing for me. I did a lot of exercises to strengthen my drawing skills, so I would just sit down and practice drawing in my sketchbook. And then in March, I got a puppy, and her name is Penny. If you don't already know about her, she is my angel. She's the sweetest dog in the world. She's an English lab. I actually made a video of the week we brought her home, and if you need some wholesome puppy footage, it's so good. I rewatch that video whenever I'm sad, because baby puppy Penny is just a fluffy, velvety, golden potato. Yeah, and then for the second year in a row, I hosted a drawing challenge on Instagram with some of my Instagram pals. That really consumed most of the end of March and April for me, because we run the challenge through April, and I usually do full illustrations for the prompts, so that ended up taking quite a bit of my time and energy at that point. Kind of around that time and shortly after was when I had kind of fully formed my idea for my rebrand and decided to make the move to Shopify, and I started working towards doing a big shop relaunch / launch, because it was on a new website. So I went into full swing of turning the things that I'd already created that I loved enough to produce for my new shop into products and stuff, and then designing new things. So by the time that May and June came around, I was really focusing on that. June was when I ended up doing my official launch of my Shopify store. I feel probably most artists who start out with a relatively small following, I got a lot of, well, actually I was lucky. I don't know if this happens for most people, but most of the orders I was getting were from people that I already know or friends that I had made online, which honestly, when I first started out, sometimes I have really self-limiting views and beliefs that I'm really working on. But one belief that I did hold for a long time was that if my friends and family are buying my art, that's kind of a failure, because I haven't reached bigger audiences. But the way that I see it now is not every person who loves me is buying my art, and the people who do buy it because they genuinely like it. Basically and I had to hear an artist that I respect and who is further along in their art career than me. I heard her say this, and then that's what really made it stick with me, is that there's nothing to be ashamed of about that it's mostly your friends and family buying your art. That's wonderful. That means that the people who are seeing it want it, and that's great. And I'm really glad that I saw that, and then it helped me kind of come around to the conclusion that it's not something to feel bad about at all. It's something to be grateful for, and it's not a sign of your art being not good enough, it's a sign of it being good enough. Yeah, so I launched my Shopify store, had orders rolling in from friends and family, which is great. Of course, like probably like a lot of people, I was really busy at first and then things kind of leveled off, and I would get the odd sale here and there, but very infrequently, and that's kind of generally the pattern that I've seen for the first little bit. So after kind of the surge of the excitement of my shop opening and getting the word out of it opening, kind of hit this lull for a little bit, but then I, out of the blue, got reached out to by Raw Artists Canada, which I'm not going to get too into that whole experience because I have a whole video on it, but they are a group who run these artist showcases where when you get invited to it, all you have to do is sell 20 tickets and you don't have to pay a tabling fee to be there, which I think is such a cool system because it was such a great way for me to get my art out there and do my first in-person selling experience without having to pay out of pocket. And it ended up being so successful compared to what I was expecting. Like I thought I might sell a sticker or two, but I ended up selling like almost $500 worth of products that night. And yes, a lot of it was friends and family, but a lot of it wasn't. And that experience was what kind of helped me see that I can be successful in an in-person environment. I had heard other artists that I follow say that they don't really do in-person events because they didn't find them to be as successful as online, but I had the reverse experience. I found that it was so easy to sell my art in person, and I find it so hard to get reach online. If you're stuck in a position where you are feeling like you're not growing online, I highly, highly recommend trying to get out to some kind of in-person event, because maybe you're like me and you're really good at connecting to people face to face. Making social media stuff that gets picked up by algorithms and shown to lots of people isn't your strength like me, and an in-person event could be really good for you. The tricky part about it is you never know what it's going to be like, right? Like with this Raw showcase, I kind of felt like I had nothing to lose. Like once I sold my tickets, which I was very grateful to do, I just had to show up, and anything that I could sell that night was a profit for me, and so that was really lucky. And I know that not everybody starting out would get an experience like that, but that kind of gave me the confidence to seek out more opportunities like that. So that was at the beginning of August, and then at the end of August, my fiance, we actually got engaged this year. That's another important note to make about what went on in my life this year. In case you're wondering, we started a little bit of wedding planning. It's probably not going to be until 2024. Anyways, so my fiance, Kelsey, and I went to Europe for 3 weeks at the end of August, which was amazing. In the span of just over 3 weeks, we were in Scotland, Ireland, England, and the Netherlands. So we saw 5 different cities, and it was just incredible. I learned so much. I feel like I grew so much as a person, which is like kind of cliche that people talk about like being a different person when they come home than when they left, but like traveling just does that to you. You are forced to grow and adapt so much when you're in such a new and different place that it just really does. If you're interested in seeing more about that, I actually put out a vlog from each of the main cities that we stayed in, and I'm really proud of them. They turned out really good. I feel like they're gonna be like treasures that I'm gonna get to rewatch for the rest of my life and remember our trip by. Doing vlogging while traveling is like one of the best things I've ever started doing, I think, because I remember having a conversation when I got back with someone who said like, oh, you probably like already forget stuff by now because it just all goes by so fast. And I was like, actually, I feel like I remember all of it because I videoed everything and I spent all this time editing the video. It's just really cool. And even if I do eventually start to forget it, I'll just watch the video again. That trip ended up taking up a lot of my mental space in the summer, and I was gone for 3 weeks. Not long after I got back, while I was actually on the trip, I ended up applying for a craft market that I got into. I have to say, I am so glad that the first in-person experience I had was what it was and it wasn't this market, because I had a negative experience where the organizer completely accidentally, I'm sure, like left me out of all of the communication information, and so I ended up getting put outside when I wasn't expecting it, and that was like really stressful because of course I have all these paper products and I'm not prepared for what's gonna happen if there's wind or rain. I got so lucky that the weather was good, otherwise I would have probably just ended up damaging a lot of my expensive prints and cards and stuff. It had a decent amount of foot traffic, but it was just people who were kind of wandering by and not really there to shop or had come expecting to purchase things, but it really helped me learn that you have to be selective about what you're going to put your money into when you're doing these in-person events, and not everyone is going to be a 5 out of 5 star experience. I kind of started to mention earlier, I wanted to talk about how I feel like making the transition to a website was really helpful for me, because so applying for markets and stuff, I just feel like really takes your professionalism to another level to be able to say, hey, here's my website. And I also pay a little bit of money every month to have my own domain so that I can have an email that matches my website. And just things like that, I feel like have really helped and taken my level of professionalism a notch up, which helps you get taken more seriously when you're applying for markets and stuff like that. So around the beginning of October, I also applied for, just kind of on a whim, this market that's run here in Edmonton called the Royal Bison. It's kind of like a pipe dream to get to do this market, because I know it has such a good reputation in Edmonton. It's incredibly competitive, so I just threw in an application because I figured it was a good idea to just get my name in the ring, so that like maybe if they saw my name after a few times they'd let me in. But I got super lucky and was able to get in on the first application. Really grateful that I was given the opportunity, and it was a really big confidence booster. I don't know if you can tell this about me, but I have a lot of like self-doubt and imposter syndrome, like a lot of people out there do. I just was like flabbergasted. It felt like it couldn't be real, but I was excited to take on the opportunity and just went full steam ahead into prepping for that market, which is why I've been so quiet on YouTube, other than slowly getting my Europe trip videos out. It was a lot of work because I wanted to have like a really good selection, and I really wanted to do like a whole holiday collection.
Oh, hello, Miss Penny. I was just talking about you. Do you want to be in the video? Oh gosh. You used to be so small, and now you're so big. I love you.
Yeah, so I wanted to do a whole line of Christmas cards. I ended up coming out with 6 of them by the time the market came around, 2 of them being designs that I reused from the year before, so I made 4 new card designs. I'm surprised you're still here. Usually you're like tired of being held like this. You're starting to get squirmy, I think. We'll go out when I'm done filming this, okay? You're content here. Okay, I'll just keep holding you. You're so heavy though. You kind of smell like fish. Were you eating your brother's food? You're slipping. I'm putting you down. So one of the new products I started making this year was bookmarks. So I made a few bookmarks for the Royal Bison, and I wanted to have a nice selection of art prints because I find those to be the most profitable thing that I have in my store. One of the big things that really impacted my business this year was I invested in a really expensive new printer. It's the Epson ET8550. And I'm obsessed with it. It is incredible. The quality is amazing. It's hard to even put into perspective how much I've used it already, and I've had to refill one of the colors. There's another one that's getting close to being low, but because I use a pretty like limited color range, like most of them are only like 1/3 empty, and it's just, I could rip about the Eco Tank forever. I'm such a huge fan. So yeah, I was able to make all of my prints for that market, and my greeting cards, and my bookmarks. Pretty much everything I sold at that market, except for my vinyl stickers, were all made on this printer at home, which is pretty cool because I was able to like go home and restock in between, which, lesson learned, I restocked both nights. So I restocked after Friday night before Saturday, and then after Saturday before Sunday. And the Saturday of the market was really busy, and so I kind of overestimated what I should make for the Sunday, which was like a little bit slower of a day. People were kind of more just browsing and stuff. But that part was unpredictable. Who knew if it was going to be just as busy Sunday as Saturday? And I still have extra cards that I'm still kind of trying to sell and trying to find good homes for. But I mean, I just printed them at home, so it's not that big of a deal that I have extra stock. One of the things that I did for the Royal Bison and my online shop for the my holiday collection that I'm really proud of is my Christmas tags. So I did both a bunch of sticker sheets. So I make these like I make any of my other sticker sheets by printing them and then using my Silhouette cutting machine. I started out by just designing. I did 5 different gift tag designs, and this is one of my favorite ones that I did. I think they turned out really, really cute. I put them in a set of 10 of these together and sold them as like a pack of 10 I ended up selling them for $7. By the time I finished packing them all up, I realized I should have priced them higher because they were a lot of work. They were like after I weighed kind of like the cost versus the time and cost of materials and my amount of time and effort that went into things, these end up being like the least cost effective. But I did sell out of all of them.
Here too. Do you want to come be in the video too?
I just climbed over Penny to get to... Oh, hello, we got a dog potty. Hi guys. They know that I'm gonna take them out after this and they're getting antsy. Oh. One of the reasons why I was so grateful to be able to get into the Royal Bison is that it's such a well advertised and well attended market that I was able to make the most money I've ever made from my art business in one weekend. And it's going to be enough for me to, at the beginning of the year, I get this influx of subscription-based expenses, like I have to pay for my Adobe subscription and my subscription to Epidemic Sound, which is what I used for music here on YouTube, and I have to pay for my subscription for Skillshare and just a whole bunch of stuff that all kind of feed my art business. So now I have money that's gonna fund being able to like pay back my taxes that I'm inevitably gonna have, because being self-employed, you ended up paying a lot back on your taxes. Even though I'm only partially self-employed, I end up still having to pay quite a lot for my taxes. I'm really grateful for that opportunity because now I have this money there to help me with that instead of having to pay for it out of my own savings. So this year I started from having a Etsy store that was closed because uninspired by everything that was in it, to opening my own Shopify store, to doing my first few in-person markets that ended up being really successful and kind of helped me get myself off the ground financially in the way that I needed to keep funding what I'm doing. So I'm just really excited about the progress that I made this year. I'm excited to see where I go next year. Some of my goals are one of the things I want to do early in the year next year is design a few more vinyl stickers and get a big batch of them reprinted, because those seem to be consistently my best sellers. They're really fun and it's easy to put my like cute goofy little designs on them. It's one of those things that you can just collect and have a million of and you still don't have too many. I also would really love to start making things like tote bags and washi tapes and kind of more substantial like illustration goods, like maybe little pouches. I don't know. I don't even know if that's an attainable dream for next year. I'm kind of just trying to take it bit by bit because I do work close to full time between all my other jobs, and so I try to keep my expectations for what I'm able to do not too high, because I'm really lucky to not have the pressure to be completely trying to pay all of my bills through this stuff, which is really nice because I can just let my business grow kind of more naturally and not try and force it, even though sometimes I kind of naturally end up forcing it a little bit anyways, just because I'm excited about it and I want it to go places. That is the end of my year in review. I'm gonna go walk my dogs now. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot that you're here and I'm really grateful for you. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.